Please be seated. Nō mai, haere mai, ena mana, ena reo, ena iwi o te whenua. Haere mai ki tēnei whare, ki te atua e mihi anō. Ena mate, haere, haere, haere. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome to you all this morning. Distinguished guests, Mayor Alex Walker, Bishop Andrew, Harmy and Adina Hilton, board members, members of the Parents Association, Woodford House Old Girls Association, Woodford House trustees, staff, parents, girls, the whole Woodford House whānau. A very special welcome also to our virtual audience in the South Island, United Kingdom, Brazil, United States, Australia, Hong Kong, Thailand, Korea and China, who are all unable to be with us this morning. In particular, I want to acknowledge the families who not only have the usual challenges of distance, but this time the exceptional constraints imposed by a pandemic. On behalf of us all, I want to commend our courageous young international students who face a summer break separated from their families and the ongoing uncertainty of the year ahead. Girls, you are so brave. You have all taught us a great deal, and to your families today, we send greetings and deeply honour your sacrifice. We gather as a school this morning to reflect on 2020, to celebrate student and staff achievement, and to farewell our leavers as that we mark the end of another outstanding year at Woodford House. While we publicly recognise the admirable efforts of our prize winners across service, academic, sporting and cultural endeavours and celebrate with them this morning, we also acknowledge the many quiet achievements and most importantly the unrecognised individual acts of service and kindness. Every previous year that I've been preparing to write something for prize giving, it takes several weeks of mulling over and wondering what to write about. And this year, my reflection ended on a single theme. It was so incredibly obvious. And this year, of all years, it would be easy for me to step up here and recount the season of COVID-19. Superlatives: unprecedented, unbelievable, epic, catastrophic, global crisis. But I don't intend to spend our time talking about pandemics or geopolitical trends or rising tides. Instead, I have a question I want to present to you all. What are you hopeful for? Put another way, what do you have faith in? I ask because I believe it is one of the most important questions we need to consider, now more than ever. In the profound words of poet Mary Oliver, I know you never intended to be in this world, but you're in it all the same. You could live 100 years. It's happened, or not. So, why not get started immediately? Girls, maturity is in no small part coming to understand that adults, parents, politicians, priests, principals are merely more wrinkled and cautious versions of yourselves, even more guarded, less earnest, more performative and less courageous, perhaps. It should come as no surprise that the ability to legally drink or to vote comes with no more clarity on the fabric of existence itself. We are as much stumbling around in the universal dark, trying to make sense of it all, as you are, perhaps even more so. Although, in a sense, there is one benefit of increasing years. That's coming to terms with that great philosophical axiom found across Christendom, ancient Greece, Confucianism, Taoism. that the first step towards true knowledge is accepting that you never can or will know precisely that which you seek. Thus, we must become comfortable living with faith. For as the great writer of Hebrews states, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Now, if this wasn't apparent to you before, if your parents and teachers had done a great job in convincing you that we had this all figured out, then I suspect 2020 has made it painfully clear that not only is the Emperor lacking a set of clothes, he can't even find a pair of Speedos to put on. You won't ever forget this year, girls, not only because of the grit and perseverance you have all shown in continuing to strive academically despite the headwinds, but because the facade of life being perfectible and silk-wrapped has been violently torn from you, from us all. This passage from innocence to experience is ordinarily safeguarded from the young. Many of us are lucky enough to escape this bruising reality until well into adulthood. Perhaps it might come with the death of a pet, the passing of a family member, a divorce, a traumatic event. But girls, you were forced to confront it in what was supposed to be your year of supreme achievement, whether it be in the sports field, under the proscenium arch, on the academic frontier, or the multiple opportunities offered to you all. For our leavers, the final year at Woodford House, ideally one of celebration, the crowning glory of 13 years of learning and growth. However, I am overflowing with hope on your behalf, because in order to face the challenges of our globe in the 21st century, we don't have time for you to wait to learn these deep lessons. Socially, politically, environmentally, as a planet, we don't have 30 years of status quo left in our global tank. You have been born into a time of great challenge and uncertainty. And to face this, you must have the compassionate resilience that only a year like 2020 can expedite. Do not mistake this for me prescribing what must be done or how it is to be done. There are far more intelligent and technical experts to listen to on these matters. My aim is to help you understand that although life's darkness can be dark, and although you may all feel overwhelmed by the burden of action that must be taken, it is necessary and it is good. And we live lives of faith. We all do, whether institutionally religious or simply spiritual. Why do fear, uncertainty and anxiety exist? And what help are they in enabling us to become more fulfilled or more hopeful for a better future? The truth is, I can't answer that for you. No one can. Because the greatest challenge in your life will not be achieving NCA excellence or getting the right job or even marrying the right person, but instead constructing a personal paradigm and philosophy that allows you to accept that it is possible for all these terrors to exist in the same time and place as goodness, joy, faith, peace and hope. And the cosmic scales always favour light over dark. But if we can admit meaning, just something, in the hug of a parent, the comfort of a friend, a sense of pride in achieving a goal, then we admit that meaning can transfuse everything. Then how do we interpret meaning, and what should that drive us towards? We must ask, because to be human is to play with cosmic fire, to have the God-given gift and ability to write both a sonnet and to build a nuclear bomb. To one moment feel deeply in love with existence and the next feel disquiet, emanating from a place unknown. And wouldn't life be easier? if we were the ant, so invariant and singularly focused? Think again, says John Steinbeck, in the midst of World War II. All the goodness and heroism will rise up again, then be cut down again and rise up. It isn't that the evil thing wins, it never will, but that it doesn't die. I don't know why we should expect it to. It seems fairly obvious that two sides of a mirror are required before one has a mirror. That two forces are necessary in life for us to be fully human. So, we are born not only into a universe where both light and dark exist, but where in order to be a sense maker, we are tasked each day to seek out the light, despite the noise and chaos. But the job isn't finished there, bringing us to the point I wish to leave you all with today. It is not enough to simply hide and shrink into a ball and minimise fear, anxiety, whatever you face in a challenge. It falls on you, girls. Beautiful, smart, privileged, talented. Stand tall, proud and loud. Be an active force in the blossoming and spreading of light. It is important to shine our lights, but sometimes the exhortation to do that can be yet another burden, when we simply do not feel we have any light to shine, or when life is pushing us down. But let me tell you, Christ's light doesn't go out, and it is that light that we can share and pass to one another, in God's strength, not our own. That's why prayer is so important, why community is so important, why the church as the body of Christ is so important. If our lights flicker out, and even if God feels far away at times, another will hold their light and reignite us. We began asking the question, what are you hopeful for? And in closing, perhaps the only answer can ever be absolutely everything. Just as there can be no end to the amount of anxiety driven by existential uncertainty, we can choose to find no limits to the heights of the collective imagination, no boundary to the hope that we can build for a brighter future, a more just and more humanitarian world. Now go forth and shine your light. Manaki te atua. I now invite the Chairman of our Board of Proprietors, Mr. Mike Wills, forward.